and welcome to Helen's Homemade Kitchen. Today we're going to be making some tortillas. They are very minimal ingredients and are very versatile for savory or sweet dishes. I will also include on my dessert Instagram a few short ways to use them and make snacks with the kids, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we're going to show you how to make them from scratch. So to start off with, you'll need a stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can probably do this with a wooden spoon. This just makes life a little bit easier. If you do have this at home, you'll attach your dough hook. And we're going to start off with the dry ingredients. The dry ingredients include flour, baking powder, and salt. The flour, just a reminder, if you're using it by cups, remember to fill it with a scoop versus just putting it inside, like scooping with the measurement scoop, because the problem with flour is it gets compacted and your measurements will be off, and that'll make it harder, especially when doing dishes. This is why many people use scales. I do for the most part. So you want to do three of those. And then you want to add your baking powder, which is 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt. Turn your stand mixer on. Turn your stand mixer on low. You're just combining them at this point. And while it's still on, I'm going to pour in my oil and my water. I have 1 cup of warm water and a 1/3 cup of oil of your choice: canola, corn, vegetable oil, something that's neutral in flavor. You can also use EVOO. I wouldn't use anything that's very, well, more expensive and has a very harsh taste to it. Use a neutral oil. You want to keep mixing until it smooths out. Once the ball comes together like this, we can stop, and we'll transfer it to a floured surface and divide it into 16 pieces. Okay, so now what we gotta do is we have to take our dough out. Okay, take it off the hook. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. I'm hoping everybody is doing that. And we need a nice clean surface. So we're going to flour it. Put a little bit of flour on it. Sprinkle it on there. Try to make sure it's not too clumpy. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take our dough ball, our dough. See how it's nice and soft? It doesn't stick to my hands. It is a bit oily, so just be aware of that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it on our floured surface, put a little bit more flour on top. This way it doesn't, get your hands all too oily and sticky, because it may start to stick once you start working with it. So what we want to do is we want to break it up into 16 pieces. So what I like to do is I like to roll it up in kind of like I like to roll it up into a snake ball, and then we can just break off little balls from it. I'd say about a handful, about that size, not too big. Yes. Okay, so once you have them rolled up, lay them out, and you want them to rest for about 15 minutes. Okay, so we're gonna cover them with a towel. Cover them with a towel, and once you cover them with the towel, and we'll come back in 15 minutes. Thank you. Welcome back. Now that your dough is well rested, we're going to take our balls that we've made and we're going to roll them out. First, you want to lightly dust your surface that you're working on. You want to take the ball of dough and you're going to push it down with the palm of your hand ever so lightly, trying to keep it round. Okay, and that'll make it easier for when you roll it out. Now, if you don't have a rolling pin, you can always use like a glass. Just make sure it's nice and clean. So if you want to, you can dust the rolling pin a little bit with the flour that's on the surface. This way it doesn't get all sticky. And you also want to make sure that the top of your dough is nice and floured as well. Okay? So we're going to roll it out very lightly, don't use too much pressure. And we're going to turn it about 45 degrees every couple of rolls. This way it gets nice and round. Now, if yours doesn't get nice and round and it looks more like an amoeba, that's okay. The tortilla is like a vehicle for flavors. Tonight we're going to be making tacos, but I also, like I said, be posting on Instagram how to make it with apple filling. You can also make cinnamon chips with this after you heat it up and cook it. They also freeze really well. So once you get it rolled out so it's thin enough that you can see through it, you see my fingers? Once you get it to that point, that's when you are able to heat it up. So we're going to put it in a non-stick pan for a minute on each side, and you'll see it'll get nice and browned and puff up and everything. And it can be used for anything. It's very versatile. You can use it for chicken wraps and as I said, like chips. You can make cinnamon chips. You can use them to pick up hummus and, you know, all types of things that you can use this for. And like I said, it freezes very well. Just make sure you put parchment or something in between them, and you want to cook them first before you put them in the freezer. Okay, and make sure it's cooled, because you don't want any moisture in there where you're getting out the moisture when you're cooking it up. So you'll still have a nice soft dough, but if you're going to freeze it or put it in the refrigerator, when you're taking it out, you want to warm it. If you want to warm it back up, you put it in the microwave for about 15 to 30 seconds a piece. Make sure it's wrapped up in like a moist towel. That'll help for it to not dry out. So right now I'm going to show you how to heat it up in a pan, and then we're done, and then we can use it for whatever fillings, toppings, uses that we want to use it for.